Welcome to Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, an interactive panel discussion. Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome back. This is Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians for November 13th, 2020, and it is Friday the 13th. And joining me is Russell. Hello, Russell. Well, he might be frozen up. Oh, there he is. Excellent.
There he is.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, let's launch into our broadcast here. We always talk about the websites down in the description as sort of the most accurate place to get information about unemployment and the Texas Workforce Commission, starting with their website, their Facebook page, and then we also have a unemployment sharing page, unemployment information sharing page that's run by our local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, and our COVID-19 resources page, which is afm433.com/COVID-19, and that's we're sort of collecting the most useful resources there for musicians, all musicians. And then, of course, who represents me, the wrm.capital.texas.gov is how you can figure out who your representative is. And that's been really important for getting things fixed with the TWC, because you still really can't get through on the phone very well. But if you contact your state senator, you can sometimes get a call from the TWC to your phone number, and that can help. So we always keep those in mind. We got beverages usually. I'm taking a page out of Mark's book, and I'm doing green tea today because I ran out of coffee. What do you got over there, brother?
Spring water.
Spring water. There you go.
As usual.
Cheers. Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday.
Man. Well, gosh. So there's all kinds of things going on in the musicians' struggle here for to keep going. I think the thing that most people are talking about this week is that reinstatement of work search requirements, which we also talked about. Well, we've been talking about the last several weeks. I've seen some discussion on Facebook. A lot of discussion about it. A lot of folks are very upset about this. When they're musicians, of course, because there isn't work to search for in most cases, right? So that's very frustrating, and there's a lot of discussion about that. Have you heard some of that, Russell?
Yeah, I heard quite a bit about that.
Yeah.
And there's really not, sadly to say, a cure on the horizon.
Right. Yeah. The work by and large is not coming back real soon.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Yeah.
Yeah. We do have, our bar closing order from the county is still in effect.
Still in effect.
Yeah, at least until next Tuesday, when our county judge uh, his term is ended. So then we'll have to see what the next county judge,
Right.
um, thinks about that. So that's interesting. But I'll put the article in the show notes about that um, as well. And there's a lot of stuff in there about Thanksgiving and the sort of county recommendations, county health recommendations about Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, we're talking about like people getting together to listen to music, but they're really talking about how people shouldn't get together that closely for Thanksgiving. It's like, man,
Right.
yeah, what a situation, you know.
Well, the pandemic is worsening, and it just seems like people are taking more chances. This is just not good.
Yeah, yeah, the fatigue, of
It's of it's getting to people, but it's almost like some people have a death wish.
well, yeah, yeah, or they're
There's
just
a reason not to do this.
right, yeah, yeah. But everyone's getting so sick of just staying home all the time that it's causing folks to take risks that they maybe wouldn't have took 6 months ago. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, and we do know that happened, in 1918,
Yep.
1919,
Hmm.
and then they had another wave or another spike, and with that pandemic. So um, it's not news. We've been expecting this all along,
Yeah.
So yeah, and we just got to
And
try to keep our heads on.
we don't know if this is our second wave or just a manifestation of the
Yeah.
time off that we've already had. We still don't know yet.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We can't control how long this lasts. No matter
Yeah.
how good this uh, the what you call it
The
the
vaccine.
the vaccine. Yeah. Exactly. That they
Yeah.
talked about this week. It sounds very good.
Yeah. Sounds very promising.
But we can't control how the virus will react to it. We can't control how quick uh, the vaccine can get out to people. We have to we have to let it do its course. Although hopefully we'll have elected officials that can mitigate the spread and actually organize the distribution of the vaccine.
Well, if there is an upside, the incoming administration is hitting the accelerator on this. They're not waiting around. They have a plan. They have a team in place. They have a program. So that's refreshing to see.
It is, yeah, very, very, very much a relief. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, well, on the unemployment note or the work search requirements notes, the TWC posted exactly the page that we referred to last week in this broadcast. They posted that today because there's so many questions about, what is a work search for a
Yeah.
self-employed person or a person that works as a contractor mainly. So so that's up on our their post is up on our unemployment sharing page, um, and it just goes through that same list of things that we went through
That we
last
had.
week.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's the same thing that we had. It's very informative.
Yes, yeah, yep. And some of those things kind of seem a little bit, of a stretch, but you can stretch them. You can,
Right.
it
Yeah.
says pass out business cards and flyers. Well, we don't really do that right now, but you can still make contacts on social media. You can research places you might play after the pandemic. You can research musicians that you might want to work with. You can do all kinds of things. Um, People are kind of getting what I'm watching out for is folks are kind of getting a little too hung up on what the work searches are, and they're not focusing on what they need to do, which is to create the log of
Right.
what they do each week, because that's what the
That's the
TWC.
important part.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
they
they
want to see.
that's what they may ask you for
Yeah.
randomly. It's a randomized thing, and they'll request a random week. You say, okay, what work search did you do November 1st or December the week of December 19th or whatever it is. And if you have that log, you say, oh, let me check my log. Oh, look right here. I did these 3 things. Then you're good, you know?
That pretty
Uh,
much legitimizes your request for payment.
yes. Yeah. Yep. So, so that's kind of the important thing there. Yeah. So try not to get too hung up on what the work search is, because it's really for self-employed and contractor folks. It's the same things that we write off on our taxes all the time. If you
Right,
have
right.
lunch and talk about business, that kind of thing. You can do those kinds of things virtually. The important thing is that you keep track of them each week. And like Mark was saying last week, he just does it. He just does it when he makes a payment request. He writes it down. You know, Despite the fact that because he's in a
We're union.
union, yeah, you actually don't have to do those payment
Yeah,
requests. But some people are saying to do. I'm sorry, the payment. You have to do the payment requests. You don't have to do the work searches. Some people are saying to do the work searches anyway, which I think is that's kind of disturbing. But yeah, if you're a member of a union, you're exempt, and we did find out a little bit more about that. When you do the payment request each week, it's the only time you can see this is while you're doing the payment request, because it's not on the part of the payment request that it lets you print out. It's only on the confirmation page once you've completed the payment request at the
right.
bottom. And I'm going to put it up on the screen here. I got a screenshot from another musician here. Um, and it's reminders. And you can't see this right now, um, but I'm putting it up on the thing. But it says reminders, um, and this is on the confirmation page, so it reminds you when your next scheduled filing day is. Um, and then if you've correctly reported your union membership, it'll have this message about you're required to report to your union's hiring hall and abide by the union rules. If your union status changes, you have to notify the TWC, and do the work searches. So if you've reported your union membership on the original application for unemployment, that's what you'll see at the end of that confirmation page. And people have been desperately trying to figure out how they can verify that they did this properly, because when most people applied for this originally, there were no work search requirements.
That's true. Yeah.
And now there is. So it's, yeah, and the form is very obtuse. Some folks, they realized after they submitted it that they didn't put the right name for the union, or they didn't put the number in the right place or something, so they're concerned about whether or not it went in there. So that's one way you can tell on that confirmation page, if it has that message about union membership at the bottom, then you are exempt from doing those work search requirements. If you are a union member and you're concerned about that, get in touch with the union office, and we can figure out how to do that, how to make sure that that's
Gotta make that work.
confirmed. Yeah, through the state senator's office. Um, but yeah, if you're not a union member, it's pretty easy to do these work search things. That aren't really work search things. They're according to the TWC rules, they're restarting your business activities, and yeah, that can be all
Well,
kinds of things.
you kind of do those things anyway.
Yeah, we're all kind of conditioned to be doing those all the time anyway.
Yeah.
You could be working on endorsements, product endorsement stuff. You could be, doing those things, posting stuff. You just have to document what it is each week, so you have it if they ask. So, um, oh, there it is, right there. I knew you
Always,
could have it right there, man.
always working.
Yes.
Good business is where you find it.
You are a shining example, my friend. I love it.
That's right.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Yeah. All right. Well, so the other thing we were going to talk about this week, that we've actually been talking about for a while, is the eviction moratorium, and eviction help.
I have a website here that you can go to that is from the federal government. It's fairly lengthy,
Yeah.
but it has a lot of good information, and it has the CDC has signed off on it because it's about COVID.
Uh-huh.
And the website is federalregistration.gov.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see. Can you type that somewhere? Should I type that
Sure.
somewhere?
Yeah, you can just type in federal registration
Yeah, I'll
dot gov, and then
federal
that'll
registration.gov.
mhm,
Federal
and that'll
register.
give you. It says temporary halt in residential evictions to
Uh,
prevent the spread of CDC.
it's saying it can't find the website. Federal
Let me make
registration.
sure I got it right here. Yeah, Federal Register.
Register.
Uh-huh. One one word, federalregister.gov.
Federalregister.gov. Oh, I'm seeing it now. The Daily Journal of the United States Government. Oh, okay. So this
That's
is
it.
so this isn't going to stay there though because this is the journal. So
Yeah, they're going to update it every day.
yeah, that's going to change. So we'll see if we can get the specific article link here. Um, special filing. I'm seeing like a green and a red window at the top, and then there's a video, and then popular documents.
Yeah, it's a
There's a lot of information here. Yeah.
fairly lengthy page, but I was reading through it last night, and it really talks about evictions and how to prevent that and the forms that you need to have on hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about. Yeah, 'cause there's that form. It's called the declaration. And I have a website on USA.gov about disaster. Let's see, disaster financial assistance with food, housing, and bills. And that has a link to that form that you just mentioned. So we'll put that in the notes too. Um, yeah, but that's really the thing I wanted to talk about is this is an eviction moratorium that's been signed off on by the CWC, as you said, Russell. Um,
Yeah,
but it just prevents you from being evicted. It doesn't actually cover any of your rent. It just delays the eviction so that you can gather other resources to hopefully pay the rent
yeah.
or to get some sort of relief that way. And it's only good through the end of the year, this year right now. It's probably going to be extended at some point, but again, like everything else, Congress has to act on it. And but maybe the CDC can do something
Step
there.
in. Now the
With
city's website has pretty much the same sort of moratorium, where it's only
yes,
good through the end of the year, and it's really not going to pay your rent for you, but it just, like you said, stops you from being evicted.
it gives you more time to figure things out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's there. But the important thing is that you have to fill out this little 2-page. You don't even have to fill it out. It's just a signature. You have to sign it and date it. Um, and it's a little 2-page declaration that basically just says you've done your best to find the resources to do this so far, and you need more time, and your income is below a certain amount, and it's pretty easy to qualify. I think it has to be you have to earn less than $99,000 per year, or $198,000 if filing jointly, if it's a married couple. Um, so it's pretty easy to qualify for it. Um, like I say, yeah, you just have to fill this thing out and give it to your landlord. Because
yeah,
that I believe that qualifies your landlord for other forms of aid because they have bills too. They've
right,
got to pay the
exactly.
mortgage.
Mhm.
Um, so it's important to do that while you're figuring out what you're going to do. As far as finding resources and or finding alternate housing or whatever it is. Um, but I wanted to talk about it. I'm glad you mentioned the city, Russell, because yeah, they have a moratorium as well. That's similar. It's a city thing, so I don't know if it's as powerful as the federal one. But what the city has is it also has, at least in the city of Austin here, and many other municipalities have this. They have a rent assistance thing, which is different, and
Yeah,
that's where they actually will give you money to pay the rent.
to pay your rent. Yeah,
And in
which
some
is a different
cases,
program.
yeah, different program. Yeah, exactly. It's not the same, and that's the thing to really be sure of here. So yeah, it's the one in Austin here. it's confusing because the program is actually called rent, and oftentimes they think that that's a clever thing to make an acronym out of the thing, but it actually kind of makes it more confusing. But so RENT in this case stands for Relief of Emergency Needs for Tenants, Rent Assistance Program. So I guess that's a way they can say it's not an assistance with just rent, it's an assistance with relief of emergency needs for tenants. I don't know, but either way, that it's a rent relief thing. I believe how it works is that it actually the money actually goes directly to the landlord is the thing. And this program that we'll put this link in the show notes as well. This program is only good also until the end of 2020, and a lot of folks have said, well, what good is that? It's only December, right? But if you're in that category where you're saying that, God bless you, because there are people that owe more than just December for 2020 to their landlord already. We have folks that are on the hook for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months of rent that they haven't paid
It's been
yet.
hard.
Yes, it's
It's
been
been
a
hard.
terrible year, especially in our industry, but lots of other industries. I don't want to just say it's just us, obviously.
Sure.
So that this can help you pay any of those months of rent in 2020 that you still owe. And if you don't owe any other months of rent other than December, God bless you.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, but this can help with that too. If you're gonna, if you're looking at December, going, how are we gonna do this? God bless you as well. And yeah, good on you for thinking about it. You probably need these two programs in tandem, possibly. But
And the thing is, when I read this website, you have to have a copy of that on you. So you don't just give it to your landlord in case
oh,
the sheriff shows up. You have to
excellent.
have a copy.
Excellent point. Yes, yeah, and this is another thing. Is this that digital divide? Not everybody has access even to a printer, much less a copy machine. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You need two copies
Right.
because you have to give your landlord a copy,
Yep.
and you need one to have on your person. Yeah, yeah. For exactly that reason. Yeah, if the sheriff shows up to evict you, that's your defense right there.
Yep.
And we don't want that to happen to anybody. It's terrifying even to talk about, and we've kind of been avoiding talking about it for several weeks
Oh, yeah.
because it's terrifying. Yeah.
It's horrifying when they knock on the door and you peek out the window and you know it's them and you know they're not
Hmm.
going away.
Yeah.
And that's your last line of defense right there. That you don't have that verification, they're not taking your word for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you have to have a copy to show them.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's getting down to that for some folks. So I wanted to make sure, we wanted to make sure the committee, has been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and wanted to make sure we talked about this at last because it might be relevant, and you might need this even if you don't need it this month. You might need this information next month. You might know somebody, of course, right? The folks that might need this information most are probably the people that aren't viewing this video, that aren't,
Right.
looking up this type of thing. So you may know somebody that desperately needs this information and may not know it's out there. So that's part of the solidarity here that we're trying to build in sharing this information around. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, those links will be in there. Yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss this week, Russell?
No, I think that was it. It was was reading about those evictions that just depressing. It just brings you down. Like, oh, I don't really
Yeah.
want to do this, but you have to know. You have to be up on this because you do have some options here.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And there's not a lot of work, but there's little bits of work out there. I mean, we don't want to paint the situation as totally hopeless. We
Right.
are finding ways.
To
Um,
do some things.
yep. Yes. Yeah. Our institutions are creeping back into the concert halls. The symphony and the opera, are finding ways to do some work because they have the organization level to get testing and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And we have some of our music venues have been able to reopen as restaurants with limited capacity. Um, I saw Antone's is doing some very limited seating stuff. Um, that it's like I think they're like at 20% or something. So it's very limited, but the tables are expensive, but you can share the table with like 6 people. Um, and other venues are doing outdoor stuff. That's possible. So the outdoor stuff's probably the safest bet because you have the open air still,
Sure.
but it's still possible for people to misbehave and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, yeah. The more we can kind of get the mask thing out there, just as a patriotic duty to your fellow humans, the better
Yeah.
off I think our industry will be, because we won't have these big surges that scare the heck out of everybody and cause everyone to stay home, which we can't do that much work when people are staying home. So yeah, yeah, man. All right. Well, I think we'll sign off here, unless there's anything else. I don't think Mark's going to join us this week, but that's all right. We'll catch him up with him next week. Um, yeah. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're a musician, don't give up.
Stay in the game.
Stay in the game. We will get through this, and we've gotten through lots of other things in our careers to stay in this business. We can do this too, but we may need a little help from our friends. We may need to share information and share experiences in order to get everybody through this, and we need everybody to do it because music is something that we do together. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you next week, and thank you, Russell, for being here. And we'll see y'all later.
See you guys.